never ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. Breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things that don't go out anymore. We sit in the house and slowly the world melts. I don't want you to ride. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to...
Sunday. 47-year-old female succumbed to injuries she sustained after a vehicle crashed into her, and that is on the 30th of April. Also, we will be focusing on a range of other developments, some words of wisdom coming from a well-known female athlete, words of encouragement as well coming from her. And as always, I'll be hearing from you when we open the lines at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. That's 716-2026. And Kimani is on. She will be going through some of your comments in the chat room during the course of our program as we say hello to you. Watching the broadcast on our NewsSpin Facebook page, also on YouTube, and listening as well on Power 97.9 FM. What a tragedy. Imagine you leave your home on a Sunday morning, going to a jaunt, hoping to have some good fun through a boat ride with friends, relatives, acquaintances, etc., and losing your life even before you set foot on that vessel. And so this is what really happened to Erica Franklin a couple Sundays ago, and resulting in this young lady succumbing to her injuries in the wee hours of Sunday. Now, she was struck by a minibus. And my information is the minibus driver claimed that the vehicle's brakes failed while coming from the direction of the National Cultural Center at Barnard Hill and descending that hill in Castries. It's very early as far as the investigation is concerned, and we are awaiting a final outcome. We'll be hearing very soon from the police and along with the technical people who would have examined the minibus to determine what would have caused if this is definitely the case, the brakes to fail, or if it is something else that caused that accident to happen or incident to happen in the first place. But ahead of that, we are not casting aspersion. We are not making any kind of allegations. But all we are saying, this gives us the opportunity to put the minibus sector in focus. Because just recently, they clamored, they begged, almost took industrial action. And who knows, behind closed doors, they might have threatened to do so. They got an increase in bus fare. And with that should come an improvement in the quality of service to members of the public. Also, the maintenance of their vehicle, needs to be addressed. And again, I'm not saying this was the issue. I'm not saying that this minibus was poorly maintained. That is clearly not what I'm saying. We have provisions whereby vehicles have to be properly maintained for them in the first place to pass inspection and for those vehicles to get insurance and to be registered at the transport department, etc. But you have to ask, as far as the minibus sector is concerned, and the fact that those minibuses, they ply certain routes, Grosley, V4, etc., on so many occasions on a daily basis, that those vehicles clearly would have to ensure that there is strict adherence to the protocol as far as the maintenance is concerned. That is very, very serious. You are carrying dozens of passengers on a daily basis. You are a road user that would be putting the lives of other people at risk, including pedestrians, and therefore you, like other road users, you owe it to individuals who are applying those routes, you owe it to other road users to ensure that your vehicle is always in a proper condition. So the onus is not only on the transport department, not only on the traffic department, but obviously on the various minibus associations and also on the NCOPT. Likewise, passengers as well. You need to take note. You need to inform the various officials of those minibus associations and the NCOPT if you realize that a vehicle has not met certain conditions, road conditions, to clearly ply certain routes, to bring that to the attention of the authorities. So immediately after this incident occurred on the Darling Road near Barnard Hill, the DBS News World had a report which was filed by Zane Romulat. That report was filed, and that is on May the 2nd. At that time, 47-year-old Erica Franklin was in a coma. She had not perished. As I said before, she perished in the wee hours of Sunday. But at the time that this report was filed, she was in a coma. So bear this in mind. Let's take you to this report.
And was making her way up McVeigh Road when she got hit by a minibus. According to reports, the vehicle's brakes failed while coming down the road. It ran into another vehicle, hit Erica, and then crashed into a perimeter wall. Her best friend, Amanda Moses, says she had been on the phone with Erica for hours as she got ready to attend a boat ride that day and had ended the call just minutes before the incident occurred. According to her, the young woman was on her way to meet a ride to head to the event when she got hit.
She told me the ride that come and meet her always on time. The person said they come in at 9:30, at 9:25, because the person was coming from Gurzili. So I thought the person would come down that side and pick her up by there. So I called her and asked to wait, come and meet them up that hill there. At 9:25, I last spoke to Erica. When it was 9:35, my phone rang. My husband asked me what Erica went. I tell him, why are you calling me and ask me what Erica went? Because he's out of the island and he was trying to call me, and I message him and I tell him I want to call you for Erica. So I'll call him back. He asked me what Erica went. So I said, why are you asking me that? He tell me because I went in a group there and I see a picture with somebody on the road who was in an accident, and all how I look at the person I see is Erica. I say, no, that can't be true. I just spoke to Erica a while ago. So I asked him to send. He tell me, you better sit down. You go and sit down. I tell him, send a picture for me. Let me tell you, when I saw that, I'm not eating properly, I'm not sleeping.
Erica suffered serious injuries and has been in a coma since Sunday at the hospital where she has been employed for the past 2 decades.
Her brain, her ribs, her hip, and I understood her lungs. Yeah. Her leg got broken, and the other leg, a lot of bruises. Yeah. Very, very, very sad.
Her distraught mother says she is brought to tears each day seeing her once vibrant daughter in her current condition. She describes her daughter as a loving individual who cared for her loved ones and her pets.
She used to help me a lot. When I come from work, instead of going at my home, I come at her home straight. And I resting. She asking me, Mama, what I want? Mama, what you want? Mama, cook food for you? Mama, I'll cook food for you. One rest. I don't want to rest. I'm going to sit down instead.
The minibus driver and another female passenger were also injured in the incident.
The person that knocked down Erica on the thing there, it wasn't a dog you knocked down. Nobody, or if you can't face the family, send one of your family and face us. We not see nobody, we not hear nobody. Like, it's a dog y'all just knocked down on the road there, and y'all just leave everything like that. Every day we have to go to the hospital. When we reach there, we have, let me tell you, before I go to the ICU, I have to go to the washroom maybe 4 or 5 times because I can't hold it. Erica is her mother's only child. And people, it's not easy. They say when something happens to somebody, you don't know what it is unless it reaches your doorstep. It's very hard.
The family, meanwhile, are awaiting an update on police investigations into the accident to know the way forward. For the DBS News World, I am Zane Romulus.
Thank you very much, Zane, for this report, which was filed on May the 2nd, following that tragic incident, which again occurred at the bottom of the Barnard Hill in Castries. And since then, unfortunately, Erica Franklin passed away in the wee hours of Sunday. I'd like to sympathize with the family. I knew this young lady for over 3 decades, pleasant individual, and also a former employee of the OK EU Hospital. So, as we normally say, police investigations are continuing, and this includes the inspection of this minibus, this vehicle which was involved in that tragic incident on April the 30th of this year. So we continue to focus on those issues of importance to you. Because whilst we are having a good time, this is the season for the Jazz Festival, we obviously must be cognizant also of some of the things that are plaguing us on a daily basis. Social activities will come and go, but you know that there are a number of events in this country, those are endemic to our country. And so let me take this opportunity to address a particular matter. Saw a flyer earlier today, kind of has gone viral. And in the chat room, somebody did say something like making reference to the Jazz Festival. I think it is good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, everyone. Wishing you all a jazzy afternoon. Same to you, sir. All the way, by the way, in Dubai. And so this flyer reads, and some of those of you watching on Facebook, you can see it as well as on YouTube. Mindset, don't talk about jazz unless something goes wrong. And of course, you have the flabo symbol, etc. Because, you know, they've all labeled this particular program. If you are critical of the SLP, automatically that makes you a supporter of the opposition United Workers' Party. I have absolutely nothing against national events in St. Lucia, whether it is Carnival, whether it is Asu Square, whether it is the Jazz Festival. I mean, I've been in this thing long enough, more than those people right now who are reveling in those activities and so on. I have played my part and continue to play my part in promoting those national activities. But when you know for a fact that because you're critical of the government, that attempts, let's put it this way, you're victimized. Because I see all and sundry, the 20,000 radio stations that we have in St. Lucia and the 30,000 talk shows, they have all been receiving sponsorship to promote the St. Lucia Jazz Festival. You think I should want to invade the people's event and go on to promote this particular activity when I've been denied the opportunity to benefit, and the station to benefit from a national event? It is not by accident that the organizers of the St. Lucia Jazz Festival, which by the way is into its 31st year, decided not to place a single advertisement on NewsSpin promoting the St. Lucia Jazz Festival. I could only surmise is because the program is a thorn in the side of the government of St. Lucia. Never mind people tell you, but we don't victimize. We allow people to speak freely in the country, etc. It's what is happening behind the scenes that you have to be totally afraid of. What is happening behind the scenes when people make decisions? It is not coming from your pockets. This is not an event of the St. Lucia Labour Party. And sometimes you have difficulty making a distinction between whichever party that's in office, government, a distinction between the government and the ruling party. Taxpayers are the ones who are financing the St. Lucia Jazz Festival to the tune of millions of dollars. Okay? Millions of dollars. And the authorities take it upon themselves to say, because you as a station, radio station or television station, because, for example, the manager might be a well-known supporter of the SLP, you played your role in ensuring that we win the last general election, then we will provide you with all the sponsorship, irrespective of whether you have 2 or 4 listeners or 2 or 4 views on your station. To hell with those other stations where you will get mileage. And so I'm not pleading and begging for any kind of sponsorship from this government or an opportunity to promote the St. Lucia Jazz Festival. I'm saying any promoter, if you're a promoter, you come to St. Lucia, you have a show in St. Lucia, whether it's local or foreign, and you decide not to advertise on NewsSpin, do not expect me to go out on a limb to promote your program for you. Obviously, what you're saying, I'm not worthy of promoting your event. So that is the message. Just want to explain because we have this flyer in circulation. Let's take your calls right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. We have our first call online as we say hello, good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
I'm okay. How about you, sir?
I am good.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, I was listening to your introductory comment with respect to the this accident. I don't want to use the word accident because I don't believe it's an accident. This incident that took place on the Darling Road and the lady died.
Yeah.
Now, the point I want to draw here is we may look at this as an incident in itself, but for me, it is reflective of the St. Lucian community at large. And we find ourselves in this situation because there are lots of other things that we should be speaking about and we don't. Last year, on the 22nd of January, a minibus came down a hill. Apparently the driver couldn't get control of the vehicle, and he turned into the building where my office is, and he slammed into the building.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were injured in that incident. The police came along, and they noticed that we did have cameras up, and they said that they wanted to see the tapes. Do you know today, Tim, up to today, they have never been back?
Oh.
So I doubt very much if any of the people who were injured got any sort of recompense or anything from that incident. And the person who was driving the vehicle, what he said when he came from the vehicle was, my brakes gave way.
Now that is what is being reported as far as this incident involving Erica Franklin.
That's what I'm getting to.
But I want to say, because I did call a source, and I'm told that a determination has not been made as to the cause of the accident.
That's the first thing they always say. My brakes gave way. About 3-4 weeks ago, a car came down the incline leading from the cultural center onto the Barnard Hill. It shot across the road almost missing a guy who was walking along there, and it slammed into the cultural center there.
I saw that clip.
Right. And the same story, the brakes on the car gave way. And we keep hearing these things all the time. Brakes don't give way, Tim. Either the brakes are faulty, they're not. And if the brakes are faulty, it is the responsibility of the driver or the owner of the vehicle. That is not an accident.
And there's always you always get a signal that it's the brakes is faulty.
It's not
faulty.
an accident.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, we don't investigate these things properly at any one point in time, and then people drive away, and that is an excuse. People die, people are badly injured, and we talk about brakes gave way. And we apply this to almost every aspect of our lives, and that's why we're in the mess that we're in today. People don't seem to learn from their experiences. They never seem to understand there's a reason why things happen. There's a reason why they have a brain. There's a reason why they've got to do some critical thinking. Brakes don't give way. Things happen. This is what is called experience, and you should know if you don't service your brakes on a regular basis, you don't test your brakes, it is going to happen. Mm-hmm. So we have to try and get that thing into every aspect of the way we live. Brakes don't give way. Look at what has happened up north. This fellow who disappeared from the party, and his vehicle was found 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. Omar,
the Freitas.
We're not hearing anything. Nobody's updating us. Was it his body? We don't know. And this thing has gone dead cold from my perspective. And all we're into, what is it? Carnival and
the jazz. Enjoy jazz. The jazz.
And even that is another story again, because up to now we don't have a clue how much is being spent on the jazz festival or whatever it is. We know that there's inadequate airlift into the country, so there's no way the kind of numbers that they're talking about is going to materialize. Who's paying for all of this? What return are we getting on this? What are the success factors? How do we determine whether the jazz festival is a success? And it goes on. It's almost every field of endeavor in this country. We sit back and we don't press it all the way to the end to get to the real core of the matter, so that we can take the appropriate actions so that those things don't recur. And we're moving backwards. I was at the airport on Sunday, and I say the airport, talking about Iwanora, because I will not use the word international. That is not an international airport. I haven't been there for a long time. And the person I came in to meet, he's a St. Lucian, came in and he says, if he was a tourist, he would never take an airline and come into that airport again. The place is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. The restaurant in the airport, the one that was downstairs, which is usually an indication of the activity in an airport. If we call this an international airport, there were 3 people in that restaurant, and that was the busiest day on a Sunday coming in. 3 people. And I'm telling you, Tim, I've traveled a bit. The last time I saw an airport looking like this was Timeri Airport in Guyana, and that was in 1975. And you remember in 75, there were no Guyanese in Guyana. Everybody was leaving. That airport in Timeri in 1975 reminds this our airport here now reminds me of Timeri. We're moving backwards in time. 75 is 50 years ago. St. Lucia is moving backwards, and we sit down and we let these things happen, and nobody speaks a word about it. The lady was demonstrating outside the Prime Minister's office. When was it, yesterday or the day before? I'm seeing a picture where he comes from his office and stands beside her with a big smile on his face. In more enlightened societies, this guy will be looking for a job today. People will be out there flooding the place in demonstrations. We go along our life as if nothing is happening. And then we start to cry when the thing that is going to happen because of our inaction happens. We're crazy. And this lady loses her life because some nutcase drives a thing down the road. The machine, 3,000 pounds of metal, and it's not properly maintained. You're going to kill somebody. And then I'm understanding that most vehicles in the road in St. Lucia are not insured. Who's stopping them? You see guys riding motorbikes all over the place, no helmet. That is the law. They drive past policemen. The policemen don't stop them. I watched the policeman on his phone one day while a fellow rode a motorbike with his slippers or his jar in his feet. He is a danger to himself and the people. The policeman was reading his cell phone. Come on, man. The nation has got to do something different. Let us stop them in the authorities. We have to make these guys do what they have to do. We paying people salaries. We paying all of them salaries, and they're doing nothing. And it hurts to see this lady has lost her life. Her mother is hurting. Omar DeFreitas' mother is hurting just to look at the lady. She lost her son. And nobody seems like they want to empathize with these people, cry with them, speak to them. We just move on. Where is Omar? Nobody knows. And he's not the only one. There are lots of situations like that. We as a people have got to change and stop talking and laughing. There's no need for laughter. A child died in Vieux-Fort. 8 bullets, Tim, 1 bullet from these high-powered pistols, not even the rifles. 1 bullet in any part of a child's body kills him. The child was torn to shreds with 8 bullets, and we moved on. We don't speak about who killed the child. We don't know. We can't be living in a St. Lucia like this. 50 years ago, Tim, I remember. We have gone back 50 years. That is a long time. I was a spring chicken 50 years ago. Now I have gray, I don't have hair. We're gone, Steve. We're dying. I mean, Tim, sorry. We're dying. We must do better than this. People have to be motivated by the pain that we see going on with the people who were supposed to do better are not doing. I look at guys I went to school with. We used to speak about these things. We would do better. But now these guys are part of the problem. They don't care. It hurts to see this sort of thing. And the lady has lost her daughter. She is crying. What is she going to do? Thanks, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. Well, the fact is that we are easily distracted by various social events. So it is jazz now. A little later, it will be carnival. And then after, you have Christmas and more activities and so on. And you want NewsSpin to be an entity or a program that just focuses on entertainment. We are not an entertainment program. We focus on those critical issues that are impacting the people of this country. Kimani, what is in the chat room? As we say, good afternoon to you. What's in the chat room?
Good afternoon, Tim. Someone is saying there should have random checks on vehicles on the road by traffic officers, also a speed radar. Another comment, someone says she would have survived in a foreign hospital. I didn't want to fall sick in St. Lucia because them doctors are wow.
We don't know that for a fact. Okay, I mean, we have to just jump into conclusion. Who knows, the folks at the OKEU hospital, they would have given it, they would have given it their best shot. Do not forget, she was an employee of the health institution. So the medical staff would have known about her. Any more?
Someone says, who is guarding the guards? Let's see. An entire ruling government with absolutely no compassion, but only either revenge and hatred. Another comment, someone says, no government institutions are functional right now, from the police to the councils. Someone says, people who can afford to take their children out of the current environment should, or they will be spoiled. Someone says, caller, Omar is recent. The former commissioner of police said they were awaiting the result of sample sent abroad involving Kimberly. Up to now, nothing. SMH. Another comment, the young child from Sufred had disappeared. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Let's see here. We have someone else. Caller, we don't want St. Lucia turning into Miami. Pamweki D. Let's
take a call. Just a moment, return to you. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Timothy Poleon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah. I have an issue with that same accident thing going on there because that shot al corny, but that child dying by the square there, that container truck. Actually, I could say that because that child died the same day, and at the end of the day, no response from the police. Up to now, the police can conclude that investigation to tell us something about the child, because you see, once it's poor people that go down the drain in St. Lucia, like there is nothing. My bad boy driving all in town without the helmet, nobody care. Police are stopping them, sergeant, corporal, all of them seeing bad boy riding in town. Them thing is nonsense. It's all them places we have to stop, because at the end of the day, nothing is happening, I'm very disappointed about the way the system running in St. Lucia. That's my contribution today.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing it with us. And as the caller before the last said, there's need for follow-up in our country. And I remember the incident that this gentleman made reference to. I think a young lady, normally would see her performing in certain parts of the capital. I think lower Jeremy Street, she would be there with a guitar and so on. And she was struck by a container vehicle. Just a few months ago, she perished. And up to now, we have not heard anything, as the caller was saying there, with regard to, the extent of the investigation by the police, what was discovered. As people like to say, it's as if it was a dog that was killed.
Sadly.
Any more comments, Kibani?
We have someone saying, Tim, can I ask you, what do you think of PJP standing by this protester with what was written on her placard?
This is the strangest thing that I've ever seen in my life, and I don't want to make any kind of assumption. I even thought at one time, I said to myself, well, this thing was photoshopped. It did not look real to me. Or maybe he took it in jest. Maybe he's saying freedom of speech. It's your right to demonstrate. I'm there, by your side, and maybe I'll endeavor to try and see if I could address those issues that you have highlighted. That's the only assumption that I can make. Any more comments?
We have one. Someone said earlier, Tout cochoni samedi, Tim la mebel kiteyo navige. Is that it? I guess referring to referring to the accident earlier you were referring to. Yeah. Another comment, someone says, Tim, you were warned the bazooka is pointing in your direction. And finally, someone says, let's see. No, Tim, everything is a joke for that prime minister. So I'm guessing standing next to the demonstrator or was just a joke, like you said, just in jest.
All right. Thank you so much, Kimani. Let's continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Once again, 452-2979. That's 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. That's 716-2026. Somebody says, Tim, you will want to sit down for this. The certified inspection valuation businesses on this island, they're not inspecting the vehicles properly before they are passed. I can only tell you personally, the 5 inspections of my vehicle, the business places take the last inspection document and carry out over to the new. They don't check brakes, don't check engine, not even the headlights, far less for taking the vehicle for a test drive. My vehicle is still under warranty, so I know it is being serviced on time. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says, Tim, didn't they have jazz at the time of the last Labour administration? What happened? They lost the election. Okay, some more of your messages. Good day, Tim. My brother, this Erica's story really touched my heart. As somebody would send me a message from the diaspora. Another one. Tim, when will our passport situation be fixed? Rain, sun, snow. We have to wait on them long lines. Shame. It's only when the authorities decide to take this whole matter seriously, and I'm only making that statement primarily because this has been going on for so long now, and apparently the concerns coming from members of the public, they are falling on deaf ears, or those who are in authority at that department, ministry, etc., they just do not have the answers to that particular situation. In the meantime, in that meantime, they are continuing to get a salary, and the problem continues to plague people, affect those people. And maybe we just like to complain and talk, and we don't know how to find solutions to our various concerns. I'm talking about members of the public. In more enlightened environments, in certain jurisdictions, instead of just supporting your party and supporting your candidate or MP at will, people normally write letters to their parliamentary representatives complaining about the lack of certain services or shoddy services that are being provided to them. And they demand that those should be attended to. Instead of applauding everything that an MP says in the parliament, instead of on every occasion basically kissing their butt and giving them a pass, a passing grade, etc. We have to be critical thinkers. And when things are wrong, it is not that you don't support your MP, but you're thinking about the betterment of yourself, of your constituency, and by extension, your country, because that is why you have elected somebody to represent your interests. Not only to organize jazz and organize carnival, but long term to look after your well being, to look after your welfare. You're watching NewsSpin on YouTube. We are also on our NewsSpin Facebook page, and you're watching the broadcast as well on. Still to come on the program, more of your discussions. Who knows, a surprise or two, including our NewsSpin news of the day.
blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Glass Supermarket continues to be your family-oriented local supermarket which spares no effort to affordably bring you the world.
Trust Glass.
For quality and friendly service.
Trust Glass.
For daily excellent specials and fantastic prices.
Trust Glass.
For the best quality bread. Check out Glass for your delicious French pastries and meals.
Also, you must know that Glass caters for your special occasion with these quality French pastries and cakes.
Be sure to earn points on your Glass card as we say thank you for your support, St. Lucia. Glass Supermarkets, contact number 452-8814.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Let's continue with your calls at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. Let me see if I have any of your WhatsApp messages to go through while we are awaiting your calls. Any more of your discussions taking place? We have some news coming from the police, but in the meantime, remember, you can call right now at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. So in the meantime, we have some police news on Sunday, May the 7th, 2023 at about 3 a.m. During a joint police operation, officers of the CID, Grosley Police Station, Bicycle Patrol Unit, Special Services Unit, Police Complaints Unit, and the RSS conducted an operation in Denier Riviere, Lacaille, and Richford Denery. The purpose of the operation was to conduct searches at various locations. During the conduct of that operation, a search warrant was executed on the premises of Brad de Turville, Kian Joseph, and Marvin Alexander of Richford Denery. The officers recovered one pump-action shotgun and also one round of 12-gauge ammunition. They were arrested and charged for the offense of possession of firearm and possession of ammunition. On Monday, May the 8th, 2023, Brad de Turville, Kian Joseph, and Marvin Alexander were escorted to the 1st District Court for the purpose of a bail hearing. They were each granted bail for the offense of possession of firearm in the sum of $30,000 and for the offense of possession of ammunition, the sum of $5,000 and other bail conditions. Some news coming in from the police as we continue with your calls at 452-2979 along with your WhatsApp calls and messages at 716-2026. Do we have a call line? We do. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Tim, we have a lot of things in this country that is affecting us, and then the government is not responding to the public clearly. They're not being clear about it. The one is that ban and bail land sales thing. I find that the government is not clear enough because the leader of the opposition is saying what he's saying, and then Richard is saying something else, but they are not being clear on it. And the Prime Minister himself, who is a Minister of Finance, refused to investigate it, because I cannot understand, because I bought some land in 1991 and today the price is up. I cannot understand how land in the middle of Castries can be depreciated. You know, they're not been clear on that. I find there's something hiding there. They should really be clear on that to the public. And the other thing is that accident with the driver. Everybody wants to pull down the driver and bus needs servicing and so on. I'm not saying no, but we have a major problem with St. Lucians walking in the road. I am not saying the young lady was walking in the road, that's all I'm saying. But we have a major problem with St. Lucians walking in the road.
No, but the responsibility, you would know that the responsibility is that of the driver to ensure that you do not harm those people. Whether it's a dog, whether it's somebody walking in the middle of the road, you have to be extremely careful as a driver. Caller, too many drivers are using the road in a reckless manner. Okay? Too many drivers are doing that. But we have a responsibility as drivers as well.
Yeah, Tim, but hence the reason. If there is a delinquent within the drivers, that must stop. But also our pedestrians, these people walk in the road. Tim, let me tell you something. You're driving towards on the morn. I'm a driver and I can tell you that. You're driving towards the morn and you find people walking down. And the people looking at you, you have to either stop or go around them. If it's a dog, the dog jumping right in the drain. But the human beings will walk and watch you in the eye. That's very bad. I'm not saying that no vehicle must not hit anybody because that's human beings. Not even an animal you should knock. But we have a problem of jaywalking in this country that must stop.
Okay, caller. Thank you so much. Appreciate the contribution. We await your calls once again, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-20. It is sad that the electorate of St. Lucia, they voted ministers for the island, not representatives for their districts. In a real setting, parliamentary representatives would be clamoring for funds to boost their constituents and to boast about their accomplishments in their area. Instead, they spend all their time promoting their ministerial achievements. St. Lucians, wake up. You don't need governments for social life in St. Lucia. And let me see if I have some more of your messages. Somebody says there, what is happening with all that bail monies that are being collected from persons found with illegal drugs or ammunitions? Kimani, what is in the chat room?
We have some comments. Someone says, tired of this charged and bail hearing. No change, same old same. Another comment, with the behavior of our leaders are not of high class, expect mud at the bottom, poor mentorship. Someone else says, passport first, now driver's license and car sticker. That's another pain in the butt. You got to walk with your breakfast, lunch, snack, etc. plus your chair. The long lines and wait is terrible. Another comment, someone says, St. Lucia seems stuck in reverse. With passing time, you'd expect improvements in policy, laws, and overall behavioral change in society. Sadly, things seem to degenerate. Someone says, so many unanswered questions, sad times we are living in. And another comment, someone says, Angela Alberti should call into the program to let us know what PJP said to her when he took that picture with her. That is about it in the chat room.
Some more of your calls, once again, 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. A comment there. Somebody says, taking my vehicle from a garage heading home and got charged to backlights, which had a shot, and the police charged me. After I tried to explain, another officer walked to the other asking to give a charge because of the party I'm representing. Sad. Let's see if we have a call. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You on the air?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon. But I heard someone else speaking. Should I turn on my...
No, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Oh, listen. Someone called a little bit ago and was complaining about pedestrians on the Mon Road.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I live in St. Lucia temporarily every year. I'm actually what you call a snowbird. And actually, my husband and I, that was the best part of being in St. Lucia is walking back and forth. So, but now we find that we're being treated as animals if we even show our face on the road. They're using this area here as a freeway right now, and we are at a loss, so we'll leave in a couple of days. But the fact is, people should not be treated that way. There are no sidewalks. Why doesn't somebody think about putting signs and saying, well, 20 miles an hour when people are present? Because if this man is saying that we're jaywalking, I don't know if he understands what jaywalking means. You know, where else are we going to walk in the sky?
Yeah, there's definitely need for this to be attended to, particularly where he's talking about the Mon area. The road there is so narrow. I mean, again, you have several corners there, at least two corners, hairpin bends almost, and then people still have to traverse on the road. Not everyone has access to a vehicle, or not everyone wants to drive every day.
Exactly. If I would bring a vehicle here, I'm afraid to drive in St. Lucia. There are no rules, no regulations. I mean, this is a detour right now because they're fixing something else, I understand. But at least you let the pedestrians know all about this and maybe tell us to be careful, because we can only be so careful and jump in the gutter each time a vehicle comes too close to us. Did you know that one of the drivers actually looked at my husband and I and told us, mash? As if we were dogs. So somebody needs to know that we at the Morn Road are not ambulatory. We cannot walk anywhere. You know how much we pay in taxi fares here? I mean, it's ridiculous. So this is telling me I need to stay in the States and not come back. And I do love my country and I do want to be here. But right now, it's like, it's really, really frustrating. I'm sorry, I usually don't call radio stations. But when this came up, I thought, somebody needs to know that our lives are in jeopardy up here. Our lives are in jeopardy. We are stuck in the house. We can't even walk down the road to get on a bus because we have to cross the road, and when we're walking, they call us dogs. They tell us, I mean, this is out of order. I never thought I'd come back to St. Lucia and be treated in that manner. Because unbeknownst to anybody, we are part of the economy, a big part of the economy here. And if we all decide that we're being treated so badly, we're just not going to come back.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I'm calling to complain, but this is how I feel. And when I heard the gentleman saying that, basically he was saying that we're at fault to be walking. Okay? Tells me why we have so much diabetes here. Has anybody ever thought of making it easy for people to walk? You know? And that would be my contribution. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And those are things that governments promote. I mean, green spaces and also places where people can walk and people can ride their bicycles and so on. And as road users, drivers in particular, you must exhibit and exercise some level of tolerance and patience for other road users, whether you're talking about human beings, whether you're talking about animals, because you should not take, any kind of pleasure in wanting to appear before a magistrate or a judge, because depending on the nature of a traffic violation. We are all road users, and all we have to do is to try and cooperate and tolerate each other. Gone are the days when you had a few people on the roads, in terms of pedestrians, and gone are the days when you had fewer vehicles. 452-2979, 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages. I think we have a call. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah, Tim. I must sympathize with the family of Jessica. She's a very close friend of mine, Tim.
Erica.
Yeah, Erica, sorry. I said this. I'm Erica. Yeah, very close friend. Nice, good customer, Tim, and I know for a long time, Tim, working at the hospital. And Tim, trust me, it's a sad situation. You know, I saw an accident took place many years ago, Tim. And up to a day like today, I know the father is actually trying to get some answers. That is, I don't even remember that accident that took place by the fire service in Grocery with the children that passed away.
Yes. That's up north.
Up north.
Yeah.
And Tim, that time, I could say it was the bricks because I saw it in my eye. I was the next vehicle in line, Tim.
Well, caller, not until you examine the vehicle that you can make that kind of conclusion, I call her, if you inspect
well,
the vehicle.
You're quite right, Tim, because you see what he was carrying a tank with water, Tim, and he went over the speed bump. And I was the next vehicle coming in from Bosiju entrance, and I had people behind my truck. And Tim, even one of those kids died in my hand, Tim. You know, and because the brother was screaming and running all over, and he lifted up the child, and he just dropped the child in my hand, Tim, and that child struck it right into my hand, Tim, and I didn't know what to do, Tim, because I saw the vehicle went up and the water, the tank the tank that was carrying that water, Tim, was just shifting. The water went back and it went forward, and the truck shot from one end into the fence, into the fire service. Tim. Until a day like today, the father is still searching for hands.
No settlement. No settlement in that matter. I think what, you're talking about more than 10 years, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
More than 10 years. Tim.
Okay, caller.
Until it's a sad situation to see what happened on that Darling Road, Tim. You know, and can you imagine the young lady was just stepping out to go and relax herself. And that was the end of that young lady, Tim. And, you know, the mother, one daughter only, Tim. One daughter. And her only loving daughter, Tim, just left on Sunday morning to go and relax and just never came back home. Tim, the police and them, I don't know, there's some things, you know, we just sometimes take some things, make an issue out of it in the beginning, and after that, Tim, it just dies out in St. Lucia. You know, like now, so her case is on the list. It's on the top of the list. We're going to talk about it, and then tomorrow another one come up, Tim, and we just leave that like that. Today it is about jazz. You know, it's not about the lives that gone or the people that is being robbed or these things. No, it's about we focus on one thing, not the things that are affecting us for a lifetime, Tim. And it's about time that we need to actually take things like that more serious and make example out of certain people, you know, and make them pay for the things that the problems that they cause in the country, Tim.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. What's a message? Somebody says, cannot tell me there is success with jazz and there is no blood bank bags at the hospital. What a shame. Kimani, what is in the chat room?
Someone says, Tim, people have no respect for each other. They driving to kill people. I'm riding on John Compton Highway and the driver just sent the car on me and had to fall in the gutter to save myself. Tim, you think I should have give the driver children... Oh, wait. You see where we are at in St. Lucia? Everyone just does not care, brutalizing each other when they have children as well. Are we off in this place? Another comment, someone says, the children were on the sidewalk. I drove past just before it happened, and a few minutes later I drove by and 3 children had lost their lives right after church. Heartbreaking. Another comment, someone says, Tim, I've been in the UK for 2 months and it's amazing how careful drivers are in St. Lucia, it's a mess with the drivers. Another comment, someone else says, there are no sidewalks on the Mon Road. I guess people have to fly or walk in the gutter. That caller was out of place to say people can't walk there. You just have to drive carefully. Another comment, someone says the first priority should be the pedestrians. Someone says St. Lucia needs a complete overhaul. And finally, someone is asking, are there sufficient sidewalks for the pedestrians? That is it in the chat room.
Thank you so much. WhatsApp message. We the people are the ones to put pressure on the government to address our issues, but we are so busy politicking that we lose sight of our real issues. The broadcast will continue in just a moment with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages as you continue to listen to NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube and our NewsSpin Facebook page.
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliotheque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road V4 at 454-6555.
A newly renovated home is a special feeling, and lighting can be a big part of that. Like the LED seasonal lights many now use for energy saving and safety over the holidays. It's worth the effort to install LED lights everywhere, and you don't have to be an expert to change a bulb. Remember to turn off all lights when not in use. This includes LED lights. Saving energy is what's smart.
Pli meilleure manière pour entrer indépendant, c'est là où ka conduire l'auto qui sa ou. Avec First Wheels Hot First National Bank, nous ka offert l'intérêt qui bien bas et nous ka prêter ou tout l'argent pour acheter l'auto depuis ou satisfait tout ça qui mérite. Vini indépendant et prêter l'argent Hot First National Bank pour acheter First Wheels. Visitez n'importe branche et bien couillez téléphone 455-7000 et 455-717. First National Bank, here for you.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More upon more so the tingo. Is more with flow if you didn't know. All these deals is a winner. More upon more with flow. More data, more talk for sure. More WhatsApp, video, can't stop. Unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better. Loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 $ to activate.
Now that's the new vibe and the lingo. Yes. More upon more, see how the tingo. It's more with flow, now you really know. Get you now. All these deals make you save more. Get more.
The new home of the best country music is Power 97.9 FM.
Say the stars are bound to fade.
Switch us on Join Me, DJ Jerry, this and every Thursday from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold, the best in country music.
Your bags are packed and waiting.
The new, the oldies, and the goldies. So let's make it a date. This and every Thursday with me, DJ Jerry, from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold. If it's Thursday, it's Country Gold Thursday. Country Gold, only on Power 97.9 FM.
I lead a rich, rewarding life.
Tired of searching all over and still can't find the auto parts you need? At Fede Auto Parts, we make it easy for you and save you the frustration and running around. From Toyota to Chevy to Daihatsu to those rare truck parts, we've got you covered. And we're quick with special orders with frequent flights from Japan, the US, and the UK. Visit our store or give us a call at 450-7500 or 484-8141. Save time and avoid the line. Fede Auto Parts, Wadawaj. Why stop anywhere else?
Jazz is back and KFC will be jazzing it up with the KFC Jazz Box. 5 dipping wings, a sandwich, regular fries, and a 16-ounce drink. Drop into any of our 5 locations in Rodney Bay, Shop, Miko Street, Cul-de-sac, or Viewfort and get your Jazz Box today. Let's keep the music playing and the taste buds rolling at KFC with the Jazz Box. WhatsApp 484-0400 to order for delivery. KFC is finger licking good.
Plastic Solutions, catering to all your commercial and domestic plastic and paper bag needs. We also manufacture printed and non-printed plastic bags. Located on the cul-de-sac Bexo Highway, Plastic Solutions is an environmentally friendly company because of its high standard plastic recycling process. For orders and inquiries, please call 758-451-5577 or visit us on the cul-de-sac Bexo Highway.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Glass Supermarket continues to be your family-oriented local supermarket which spares no effort to affordably bring you the world.
Trust Glass.
For quality and friendly service.
Trust Glass.
For daily excellent specials and fantastic prices.
Trust Glass.
For the best quality bread. Check out Glass for your delicious French pastries and meals.
Also, you must know that Glass caters for your special occasion with these quality French pastries and cakes.
Be sure to earn points on your Glass card as we say thank you for your support, St. Lucia. Glass Supermarket, contact number 452-8814.
Plastic Solutions, catering to all your commercial and domestic plastic and paper bag needs. We also manufacture printed and non-printed plastic bags. Located on the cul-de-sac Bexo Highway, Plastic Solutions is an environmentally friendly company because of its high standard plastic recycling process. For orders and inquiries, please call 758-451-5577 or visit us on the cul-de-sac Bexo Highway.
WhatsApp message, just want to highlight my dissatisfaction with the airport. Uranora International Airport does not keep up with international standards. Why did they refuse this development? Shaking my head. We don't like development. We need to keep up with the times. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Okay. You know, Tim, the more I listen to those talk shows, the more I think St. Lucia is a joke, you know. So you mean to tell me, Tim, we are unable to discuss two issues at a time, at one time? The gentleman called and said we had a problem with jaywalking in St. Lucia. Is that a fact? Is that true, Tim? Do we have a problem with jaywalkers in St. Lucia?
To a certain extent, yes, we do. But but caller, I do believe that the onus is on motorists.
Do we have a problem with drivers driving with due care without unattended as well?
We have a problem with them as well.
Right, so
but which one? But which one? Which one is more acute? Which one is more common? I think it's the reckless driving that's more common.
Timothy, do you drive on the streets of St. Lucia?
I do.
Do you walk on the streets of St. Lucia?
I do.
Are you careful when you cross the street?
Do you see what's happening on our so-called highway, Castries Grocery Highway, every day?
What I'm telling you that we are supposed to address both matters simultaneously, Timothy. We cannot just discount what the gentleman said about the jaywalking and then says, oh, reckless drivers. Of course, we know we have a problem in both areas, but we cannot discount one for the other, Timothy. You understand? And for people to say that, you know, I'm going on the drive and say he shouldn't have said that. Of course, Timothy, we have a problem with the way people cross the street, the way they cross the pedestrian crossing without due care and attention. We have some drivers as well who drive without due care and attention. But we cannot shoot down one for the other. We're supposed to be calling a spade and address both matters.
No, but listen, caller, listen. The listener made a specific reference to how she was treated, she and her husband was treated, whilst walking up on the Mon.
I'm talking about the observation of the driver. That when you approach somebody, they look at you with big eyes and bounce me now. You know it, Timothy. So we must not be hypocrites in this country. That's why our people will never change, because we keep on making excuse for the drivers, we make excuse for the pedestrians, we don't call us pedestrians. And this is what I'm calling for this afternoon, that we have to be fair and square and say, yes, we have a problem in that area, yes, we have another problem in the other area. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. But I'm speaking purely from my perspective as a motorist. I think too many motorists are reckless. They are not exercising due care and attention whilst they're driving on the roads. I think All of us have a great responsibility while using the roads, but clearly I believe that the biggest responsibility is that of a driver, because the vehicle can be considered a weapon. If you have a motorcycle, it is a weapon. If you have this ordinary bicycles, that's a weapon as well. So let the people get engaged in the jaywalking and so on, but we certainly we have to be very, very careful, because if we're not careful, people can lose their limbs, people can be seriously injured, and as is normally the case these days, people can also lose their lives in the process. We have a call. Somebody's already on the line. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim, a couple questions for you quickly. I find that's the most effective way to get my points across.
Yes, Rick Wayne.
Yeah. Tim, I don't know if you will remember that. You probably don't, although you were in journalism longer than I have been. But
you have been in journalism before me.
I have? Working in St. Lucia?
Yes, time of Willie James and those guys wasn't around, Rick.
That's why I had periods, I guess.
Yeah.
I keep on thinking of myself going back in 87, thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Tim, John Compton in the late 80s or early 90s was called out on something he said in Parliament that was obviously erroneous or deliberately misleading, whatever. And the then leader of the opposition made a big thing of it. The Star made a big thing of it because he had the contrary evidence, you were saying, etc. And Compton held a public meeting, and the gist of that meeting was not that he had done something erroneous or that he misled Parliament or something like that. It was only to concentrate on the effect of the criticism of him.
Mm-hmm.
Are you following me?
Yeah.
And so he famously said, and that's on record, that all St. Lucia has going for it is my good name. And
I remember that. I remember that.
And when you mess my good name, you mess St. Lucia. Now that was a little bit arrogant. It was a little pompous. But at the time,
it was true.
It was also
It was true. At the time, it was true.
Of course. And there was a time, too, when George Odlum made his statements, St. Lucia needs me more than St. Lucia, again sounded arrogant. But at the time, it probably was true, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I tell you all that stuff to see how far we have come. Now, in the days of apartheid, did you ever hear anybody, well, I bet you can't think of one police officer's name who committed an atrocity against black people or whatever. I bet you can't think of his name. But I'm sure you'll know, be familiar with the name de Klerk.
Mm-hmm.
What was he, Prime Minister at the time?
He was president of South Africa.
So he epitomized the picture of apartheid. He symbolized it.
Yes, he did. He did.
The point I want to bring up here is that, we keep on holding all kinds of leaves responsible for this and that, but we don't talk about the tree. Especially in little countries like ours, where you don't have little groups and people bodies and associations and so on.
And active civil society.
Exactly.
I mean, Rick, let me just interrupt. I mean, you watch television, you watch the news, you watch BBC, CNN, etc. It would appear that there's an organization or institution for every little problem in the world in the United States or the UK.
That's correct.
Every little issue, children with autism, learning disabilities, consumer rights organizations, institute there for this. Continue.
You really need to devote a show once in a month to a particular subject, because you and I'm more than you. We think that the stories we wrote about, we wrote 5 times or reported so many times, and when people say, where were you when this happened? We take that lightly, Tim. But most of your listeners, the people in the chat room, etc., genuinely are seeking information, Tim.
Yeah.
Because they were too young when these things, we were writing about these things in detail and putting pressures and so on. They were too young. Somebody asked me, called me up on Sunday. A young man, very frustrated, and I told him one of my things, the disease that frustration is, and the things that come out of frustration. I gave you a whole lecture some time ago on
Yes.
frustrated young people. And he asked me, do I think something like the forum, now right away everybody in the chat room is, what the hell are we talking about? What is the forum? Okay? Something like the forum, do I think there's room for it right now? I think you know a little bit about the forum.
Yes, I do.
It was a group that was supposed to be an educational group, non-partisan, called the shots wherever we saw the shots, had public meetings, sometimes nothing to do with politics, and so on and so on and so on. That's what this group was.
Consisting of the day's intellectuals.
The day's intellectuals, yes. Okay? It was almost a sign of your intellect if you belong to the front line of the forum. And then the forum got messed up to a large extent by George Odlum. Because George Odlum, a lot of people think that George was the inventor of the forum. He was not. George joined the forum and gradually turned it toward politics, despite all the assertions it was not political and so on and so on. And forum turned into Slam, and Slam gave way died when the leading members of Slam joined the Central Labour Party, right?
Yeah.
So my answer to the guy was, I can't think of a better time where we should have some kind of group with the first intentions of the forum. But don't waste your time, I said. The minute you announce a group here, you're going to find everything jumping on you. You're a fake, you're horrible, your mother's underwear will be discussed and everything. And that is not only because of the people, the people just being different people. It's got a combination of both, because the people who got involved in that group turned out to be goats with cardboard horns, whatever the story is. Not real, fakes.
Yeah.
And they ended up over and over, the very thing George said ironically, the people have been fooled too many times by the politicians. The next batch of politicians who fool the people should be hanging Columbus Square. Those are George's famous words. But the people took George at his word for a number of years about what he believed, And what George died having spat on those beliefs. That is a raw, rough, true history, Tim. The facts are there. Okay. So I want quickly to come to the taxi drivers now. I'm going to connect them for you. I mean, isn't there a taxi association? Is nasty or uncouth or whatever to either a road user or a passenger? To whom does that person take his complaint?
You should be taking it either or both to the association of that particular route or the head body, which is the NCOPT. Because I think very often they have a disciplinary committee.
All right. So have you heard, I could be wrong, have you heard of anybody paying the price of being nasty to a passenger in a taxi and so on and so on?
I have interviewed some of the officials of the NCOPT, and they have disclosed there have been certain occasions where drivers have been disciplined.
Yeah.
Suspended for a couple weeks or months, depending on the gravity of their indiscretions.
Because I spoke to you last week, I said there are certain jobs that should require people's reputation being well known. And I believe taxi driving, for example, taxi driving for one.
If you're a minibus driver?
We have so many stories about minibus drivers moving on minors and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
We hear all those kind of things. But I don't know there's any place you can go other than the regular go to the police and make a complaint type of thing. Just before I go, Tim, the reason I bring that up is some years ago when I was regularly doing journalism, I had calls. So a tourist came to my office and complained about a particular taxi driver. He didn't have the transit then. They were cars, regular motor cars. And was complaining that she and her husband took a taxi from Beaufort. And of course, they took the number, and that's how I was able to trace the taxi driver and ask him the question. They took a taxi from Huonora en route to Castries, and they reached a spot where the guy came out, stopped the vehicle, came out, and stood by the roadside in plain view, urinating.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cooley came back. So when I said the guy about this, how offended the guy's wife in particular was, etc. You know what his answer was to me, Tim?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rick, I don't know. I tell the people, excuse me, you know. You hear that?
That seems so normal to him.
You know, that was very, very normal to the guy. So I can give you a number. So there's another one, another complaint, and I investigated it, and the guy admitted it. But with the same kind of excuse. The man actually came off the main road, the highway. He asked his passengers, again a couple, you mind if I pick up my girlfriend? She's waiting for me. And he actually came up and went up about 10, 15 minutes off his track to pick it. And the guy admitted it to me. But Rick, she was waiting for me, and I had to take her to Castries. And so he had the couple who were paying for the taxi in the back.
Plus his girlfriend.
And he thought that was quite normal. Now, I'm not knocking those people. It just seems to me that some kind of standards should a long time ago have been established about things like that.
Yeah, but
you know,
but when you establish standards in St. Lucia, what happens? Okay? And there's a particular thing I wanted to discuss yesterday on the program. Tourism service providers to be certified. I don't know if you came across this story anywhere. The Vendors Association, I think, was launched over in Soufrière, and that's where the tourism minister made that point. So very soon, tourism service providers will be certified. Now, what is normally said? Man, you're trying to deny this individual of earning a living and so on. You're making life more difficult for that individual. So everything has to be politicized.
I don't hear the word Malawi these days.
No, that's because a particular party is in office.
I don't know about that, but what we hear is the poorest or the poor sometimes. We hear about that. But a number of phrases have gone out that did already, and and Malawi, whatever. So, Tim, I'm saying that, we really, it's late in the day that we are not careful who we give licenses to do what. The market, we don't check out people's health. I've never been able to ascertain that because I've seen some people there. I definitely ain't buying nothing from them. Open source and all that kind of stuff, Of course, everybody needs to make a living, but you cannot make your living at the possible expense of your patron. If you have a communicable disease and nobody knows about it, and I come and buy that, sure, you're giving the seller an opportunity to sell to me, but you're sending me to my grave.
Yeah.
We don't think of those things at all. All we do get into is the forget your troubles and dance, and we have been doing it long enough to know that doesn't pay. It's very costly. We are not where we are from yesterday, Tim. We are where we are from as far back as those two reports I just gave you happening in the 80s, early 90s. And I want to say also the time is coming soon when if we don't decide who is going to hold what office, whether in the public service, whether in parliament, in terms... Kenny Anthony said so, Kenny Anthony said in 2016 that St. Lucians have to be more careful who they elect to parliament. Of course, typically, Kenny, very smart, he said nothing about political leaders should be very careful who they put up as candidates. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Let's take a final take as to what's happening in the chat room and join Kimani. Yes, Kimani.
We have someone saying we need to go back to the drawing board and put in place legislative where when a government comes in, there should be no demolition of buildings built by the other party, but continuation of projects. This can enable our country to go forward. Someone says, as far as I see it, we are not ready for improvement in St. Lucia. We need to get rid of poor representation. Instead of going forward, we are going backwards. We need to step up as St. Lucians. Y'all want to blame pedestrians and drivers, but not government for sidewalks. Someone says, I agree with this call. Both issues need to be addressed urgently, restless driving and jaywalking. We also need better walkways and roadways in keeping with international standards for public spaces. Someone says, we complain about jaywalkers but refuse to start with the cows. Referring to a previous caller, someone says Pepper needs to learn how to use the road. People that's be telling you, bonks me.
Yeah, they do.
They do. Someone says the vendors took over the sidewalks in Castries. Someone replied to this comment saying, what's the solution? Is government going to get rid of them? Are they going to be denied the privilege to fend for themselves? And another reply, what about the government finding a central place which can house as many vendors as possible, a flea market style? Someone says, Tim, some drivers prefer to knock someone on the side of the road to save their bus or car from being knocked. Let's see. Someone else says, Tim, the government needs to have a street naming drive. That's sad. We're living on a street and don't have a street name. Tim, every street in every community should have a sign to show the name of the streets. We have to stop educating our children that the community is named after trees and a supermarket. They need to know the name, Tim. Final comment. Someone says, let's see. The fact that we still don't have a hospital in the South is proof that the system is hopelessly broken with no intention of fixing it. That's it in the chat room.
Thank you so much for your update, Kimani. We conclude now with our NewsSpin news of the day. Our NewsSpin news of the day. Over in Haiti, a grassroots bringing to a conclusion our broadcast for this Tuesday. As always, thank you so much for watching on YouTube, our NewsSpin Facebook page, and listening on Power 97.9 FM. Coming up next is the Power Drive. My name is Timothy Poleon. Here's to a very enjoyable and safe Tuesday. Goodbye.
For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.